Renowned naturalist and founder of the Sierra Club, John Muir, once said that the clearest way to the universe is through a forest wilderness. There are moments in life when we're in the great outdoors, where the noise slowly goes away, the city lights fade, and we're left alone with our thoughts. It's during those moments that we get perspective, a bird's eye view, if you will, of who we are, where we are in life, and what truly matters. What's up everybody, I'm Alex, aka Alex the Vagabond, and in this video I'll be sharing with you all of the life lessons that I've learned from time spent camping and backpacking in the great outdoors. From the fern forests of New Zealand to the wild deserts of Namibia in southern Africa, and many missions here in my home range of the Sierra Nevada in California. I've always been drawn to the outdoors, and I've always wondered, what is it that compels me towards the great wide open? What is that yearning inside? And why do I feel so much better after I fulfill a trip in the outdoors? I don't know, but I've had a lot of time to think. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some of those ideas. So stay tuned. While 2020 remains one of the strangest, most socially isolating, and just generally lamest years in living memory, there have been some good things that have come from it. Most notably, a renewed interest in the great outdoors and a newfound respect for the land that we all hold in common trust, our national parks. But when I can't get away to the mountains, I find myself reflecting on the emotions and the lessons that that time in nature has left with me, and the lessons that it can teach you if you let it. So before we dive into those lessons and the rest of this video, I just want to leave a quick, polite reminder. If you are not subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And if you enjoy this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down in the comment section. All right, everyone, you ready? Let's do this. Lesson number 1, our place in the world. In this modern world, it's easy to forget that mankind is a part of the world, not apart from the world. When we're sitting inside, staring at our smartphones in a climate-controlled environment, eating food we didn't grow or harvest ourselves and just generally have no idea where it came from, it's really easy to forget that mankind is dependent on the natural world. We've also somehow convinced ourselves that we're at the top of the food chain. Newsflash, we aren't. Going into nature gives us a healthy dose of reality and a newfound respect for the things that are out of our control and that do not fall into the neat rules of modern society. I have camped in the wilds of Namibia in southern Africa and heard lions and hyenas near the camp. I've also had bears come through my campsite here at night in the United States. I didn't have any problems and I wasn't attacked by any wild animals, but I can tell you that both of those experiences left me with a newfound and very healthy respect for my place in the world and for the wildness of the rest of the animals that also inhabit this planet. After those two experiences, every time I go into the wilderness, I'm very aware of maintaining a meticulously clean campsite in order to not encourage unwanted visitors in my camp at night. A small dose of fear keeps us alive, it keeps us on our toes, and it's actually a healthy thing. For me, the trade-off of seeing billions of stars in a clear night sky without light pollution from a nearby city is totally worth the potential of an encounter with an animal. And let me just say that the statistics of that are super, super, super low. You're way more likely to get hit by a bus walking out your front door in a city than you are to be attacked by a bear. But if you are still a little reluctant, if you still are maybe a bit afraid of an unwanted encounter while in the wilderness, just listen to this quote by Robin Sharma. We grow fearless by walking into our fears. Try it, you won't regret it. Lesson number 2, the essentials. When you go out into the wilderness, you very quickly realize what's truly essential in life. Shelter, water, and food. Because when we break it down to the basics, we really don't need all that much. You may not know this, but humans can die in less than 20 minutes from exposure to cold water. Falling into an icy river or an icy lake can cause extreme hypothermia and can kill you in literally less than a half an hour. And on the opposite side of the temperature spectrum, you can die almost as quickly from heat stroke, prolonged exposure to hot, humid environments. So when going into nature, it's important to protect yourself from these extremes with shelter, your first and most important essential.
As you can see, it's a lovely afternoon in California. Sunshine, clear skies, great vibe.
A tent, a bivy a tarp for shade or to protect you from rain. It's really quite simple. Once you have shelter taken care of, your next essential is water. Access to clean water. Purifying your water, whether by iodine tablets, boiling, or using a water filter, is a super important aspect of any trip to the great outdoors. If you don't purify your water, you run the risk of catching a waterborne illness like Giardia. So going into nature and purifying your water is just one more reminder of the importance of access to clean water, something that in this modern world, many of us take for granted. And finally, the third essential, food. When you go backpacking, you're carrying all of your food for that trip in with you and all of the trash back out with you. Don't leave your trash in the backcountry, please. So going camping gives you another newfound appreciation for the importance of your next meal, because food is fuel. It's the fuel that's gonna get you to your destination and get you safely back. In short, going camping gives us a newfound appreciation for the things that we take for granted in this modern life, mainly access to food, running water, and a roof over our heads. And that perspective is priceless. Lesson number 3, nature heals us. Trees give peace to the souls of men. Nora Wall. How do you feel when you go into nature? Personally, when I get the scent of a pine tree, or I hear rushing water, or feel a cool mountain breeze on my skin, I feel invigorated. I feel stress dissipate, and I feel happiness stir deep in my heart. And guess what? I'm not the only one. A recent study by the prestigious Stanford University found that participants who walked in nature had decreased anxiety, decreased rumination, and decreased negative affect while preserving positive affect. Participants were tested post-walk on tasks that required short-term memory, and those who walked in nature on average performed better. In Japan, they have a concept called shirin-yoku, which literally translates to forest bathing. A study was conducted on 498 volunteers who, after taking a forest bath, showed decreased scores of hostility and depression with increased scores of liveliness. It also found that the higher the stress level the person had to begin with, the more impactful their time in nature was. And these studies found that all of these psychological changes actually affect our body. With decreased anxiety and rumination, you have decreased heart rate, lower blood pressure, and less muscle tension, as well as an improved immune system. So it has been scientifically proven being in nature makes us happier, healthier individuals who are less prone to illness and depression. What more do you need to hear? Are you ready to go camping yet? Lesson number 4, an appreciation for nature's beauty. One of the first things you realize when you spend more time in nature is just how much life is out there. Away from the noise of the city, we begin to hear more, to notice more. The little bird in the underbrush, the squirrel collecting nuts for winter, the deer moving slowly through the forest, and the fish darting through the shallows of a stream. When we allow ourselves to observe the natural order of things, we feel connected to the earth. We feel like we belong. And in a society where so many people are longing for belonging, don't you ever stop to wonder why doctors aren't prescribing nature? instead of drugs and therapy? Going into nature and actively seeking wildlife gives us an excuse to loiter in a landscape, to sit with ourselves in stillness, essentially a form of waking meditation, and try to blend into the landscape. Try to make yourself invisible, to observe. Retreat into your mind and allow the natural world to unfold around you. When we do that, the world begins to move around us again. Slowly at first, but the longer you sit, the more animals become accustomed to your presence and they get braver. So try this the next time that you go camping. Find a place that looks inviting. Maybe it's on the edge of a stream or on the edge of an opening in a forest where you can sit and you can observe without making your presence fully known. Because that feeling of belonging is a fundamental human emotion, but so is the feeling of belonging to the natural world. So next time you go camping, give that a shot. Lesson number 5, camping builds character. When we pack up our backpacks and strike off into the wilderness, we leave behind us cell phone signals and convenience, and we walk towards self-reliance and self-assuredness. In a world where so many people doubt their self-worth and their own abilities, going backpacking can give us a much-needed dose of empowerment. Because there's just something innately encouraging and liberating when we sling that backpack over our shoulder and strike off towards that mountain peak. It's the satisfaction of the strenuous use of our bodies, that tired, exhausted, and yet oh so happy feeling that's completely counterintuitive and yet oh so real. When we push ourselves and achieve what we set out to do, we gain self-confidence. And when we gain self-confidence, we become better versions of ourselves. So you may be sitting there watching this wondering, can camping really do that? Well, the answer is yes, it can. Lesson number 6, camping teaches us to trust our instincts. When we're out in nature, we don't have Google, we don't have a weather forecast, we don't have Siri waiting to answer your every inquiry with the infinite knowledge of the internet. What we have is our instinct and our intuition. Do those clouds amassing on the horizon look like rain? Does that temperature drop on the breeze mean a storm is coming? Should I stop here and find shelter before that lightning storm? Sometimes when we're outside, we have to make those spur-of-the-moment decisions, and we don't have anything to go off of except for our instinct and experiences, and we use those to guide us to safety in the unknown. In our modern urban world, we don't have to make those type of decisions often, and when we don't make them for a while, we can get rusty, which leads to self-doubt and indecision, and an endless cycle of debating and questioning your choices when precious time is wasting. Putting ourselves in situations where we have to make those type of spur-of-the-moment decisions and allowing ourselves to follow our intuition is so beneficial for our mental health and wellness. Going into nature gives us an opportunity to listen to that guiding voice that's been with us and our ancestors for hundreds of thousands of years, but one that's drowned out by the noise of traffic, your AirPods, and the top 100. Give yourself a chance to listen to your intuition. It hasn't gone anywhere, you've just had it on mute. Lesson number 7, gratitude. Let's be real, camping is hard work. At the end of a long day exploring, hiking, many times at altitude, you're tired, hungry, and exhausted. Next time you take 2 hot showers in one day, pinch yourself, because when you're camping, you're gonna have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's gonna make you really value that warm shower. Your food never tasted so good. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but damn, this freeze-dried pasta bolognese tastes delicious. Maybe it's the mountain air, maybe it's the much-needed calories. Who knows? But there's something about a hot meal at the end of a long day in the mountains that makes you feel grateful to be alive and grateful for that meal. Trust me, you're gonna feel appreciation for that meal. Just ask my buddy Devo, who literally licks his plate clean every single time we go backpacking. I don't know if it's because he enjoyed the meal so much or he's just lazy and doesn't like doing dishes. I'll have to ask him next time. Lesson number 8, unplugging from technology. One of my favorite parts about going into the outdoors is that I have the perfect excuse to turn off my phone and enjoy the present moment. I'm out of the office, I can't answer my emails, I can't post to Instagram, and I cannot be bothered. In this modern world, that's a luxury. Enjoy it, luxuriate in it. Be in the present moment, because there's few places like this anymore left on earth where we're not connected. That is one of the best parts about going into nature. Back before cell phones, back before the internet, back before TV, you're back where you belong. Take that time to unplug. Forget about your responsibilities in the real world. Because guess what? Out there in nature, that's the real world. Where we live, that's the illusion. We live in the Matrix, honestly. So enjoy it. Turn your phone off and be in the moment. And finally, lesson number 9, our responsibility. Being in nature gives us meaning, but it also reminds us of our responsibility as the preeminent species on this planet. Our responsibility to preserve the little wild that still remains, for the animals and the plants that live there, and protect that habitat from the menace of overconsumption and the darker parts of the human psyche. It's never been more important than now. A 2019 study by the United Nations Environment Program reported that 25% of mammals, 40% of amphibians, 33% of sharks, and 25% of plants are currently threatened with extinction. Based on these predictions, scientists estimated that over 1 million species could go extinct, many of which in just decades. This mass extinction could have serious consequences on the stability of ecosystems around the world, many of which humans depend on for survival. The interactions between animals, plants, humans, and the environment makes up a complex web that is very interconnected. Disruptions to any part of this biological architecture could have significant cascading effects. For example, humans need food to survive. But over 3/4 of the crops around the world are dependent on some form of bees, wasps, or butterflies to pollinate plants and create food. The new UN report found that 10% of these insect species are currently under threat of extinction. The time to take action is now, if we want to have anything resembling the world that we currently live in the future. If you've been following the news at all, you're probably aware that much of the western United States is currently on fire. This past decade has been the warmest on record in the history of the world. Just 2 weeks ago, we had the hottest temperatures ever recorded in Los Angeles. Here at my home, it was 118 degrees outside, with the hottest record temperature in Death Valley of over 130 degrees. Also, this year's fire season is already bigger than the entire 2019 fire season and has burned more acreage than all of last year combined, even though there's still 3 months left in this fire season. With millions of acres of forest burned in wildfires already this year, it's caused mass evacuations and damage in California, Oregon, Washington State, and Colorado. These fires are destroying millions of acres of forest, killing tens of thousands of animals, and causing people to lose their livelihoods, their homes, and many people, their lives. So while we may feel powerless, there are some things that we can do, especially when we go into the wilderness, that can help reduce the chances of a wildfire. First and foremost, always be extremely careful when having a fire while camping. Always check the local fire regulations and restrictions before you go camping, and follow them. If campfires are not allowed, it's for a reason, so please don't have them. If campfires are allowed, please keep your fire small, keep it in control, and before you go to sleep, make sure that your fire is completely extinguished. Before I go to bed, I make sure that all of the wood is burned down. I will pour some water on it 2 to 3 times and then mix it all together to make sure that all of the embers are out. Put your hand over the fire and make sure that it is not hot. And finally, I will encourage you to donate what you can to the firefighters who are currently in the battle of their lives fighting these wildfires all across the West. In the description box of this video, I have a link that you can click on and donate to the Red Cross to help fight these fires in the western United States. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, those are the lessons that camping and backpacking have taught me. I would love to hear what lessons camping and backpacking have taught you, so please hop down there into the comment section and share those with me. Also, I'd love to hear which of these lessons resonates with you the most. So let's start a conversation down there in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up. And if you're feeling extra generous, then consider leaving an applause for this video. Your donation will help me continue to create as much content as I possibly can for you on this channel. So remember, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all very, very soon in the next video. Okay, friends, remember, train harder, fail smarter, and never give up, and I will see you all in the next video. Stay safe out there, all right? Peace.